In this video, we show how to find intercepts. There's x-intercepts and y-intercepts. The x-intercepts are the locations where a graph crosses or touches the x-axis. The y-intercepts are the locations where a graph crosses or touches the y-axis. Let's look at an example. Consider this graph here. What are the x-intercepts in this graph? That is, where does the graph cross or touch the x-axis? Well, we can see that the graph crosses the x-axis at 3 locations, or it touches the x-axis right here at this point, and the graph crosses the x-axis at these 2 locations here. So these would be the x-intercepts. This point, and this point. Put arrows there. So all of those points are the x-intercepts. All right, and where are the y-intercepts? That is, where does the graph cross or touch the y-axis? And you can see that there's just one location where the graph crosses the y-axis, and that's this point right here. All right, and let's look at some more commonly given questions that appear on homework, quizzes, or tests. Let's look at this example here. Suppose we're given a graph, and the question is to find the x-intercepts or y-intercepts, if any. How would we do it? Right? So look at number 1 here. We've got a graph and we want to find the x-intercepts. That is, we want to find the locations where the graph crosses the x-axis. So you can see that the x-intercepts are what? This graph 1 here appears to cross the x-axis at the location -6, 0 and 3, 0. And what are the y-intercepts? Well, the graph appears to cross the y-axis at the location 0, 3. All right, so let's look now at number 2. What are the x-intercepts here? You can see that this graph crosses the x-axis at 3 locations. The first location at -10, 0. The next location at 0, 0. And also at 15, 0. All right, and where are the y-intercepts for this graph? The graph appears to cross the y-axis at one location, and that is 0, 0. All right, and for number 3, what are its x-intercepts? X-intercepts for number 3 here, does the graph cross the x-axis? It does not appear to cross the x-axis. So even though it looks to approach the x-axis here, we don't know if it'll cross the x-axis or not. So based on the look of it, it just approaches the x-axis, but it does not cross the x-axis. Okay, so there's none. There's no x-intercept for number 3. And then what is the y-intercept for number 3? The y-intercept looks to be 0, 3. All right, and then moving on, there's another type of question related to intercepts. Suppose this time we're given an equation and we're asked to find the intercepts, if any. All right, so for number 1, to find the x-intercept, we need to let y equal 0 in the equation and then solve the equation for x. So once we let y equal 0, we're going to have then 9x squared plus 4 times 0 equal 36. Simplifying this will give us 9x squared equal 36. Solving this for x by dividing both sides by 9, we get that x squared is 4. We almost got x by itself. In order to get rid of the square, we need to take the square root of both sides, or we could take the square root of both sides. Taking the square root of both sides, remember that a square cancels out a square root, so that x is plus or minus 2. The square root of 4 is 2. So this means that the x-intercept, there's 2 of them. One x-intercept is 2, 0, and the other location is negative 2, 0. And then, how to find the y-intercept. It's similar to finding the x-intercept, but in this case, we're going to let x be 0 in the equation and solve the equation for y. So letting x be 0 in the equation, that means everywhere I see x in the equation, I put 0. And simplify this and solve it for y. So simplifying is giving us so we can see that the y-intercept zero y, 0, 9. Right, that's it. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe. Also, check out our website at the description below. Math is order. It's not just about numbers and symbols. So let's find out together those things bringing disorder in our lives and see if they can be ended.